Jada said she was ready to tell the world that she and Will were separated during that infamous Red Table Talk entanglement conversation. But then something happened and Will just flipped the script. Now, I got a lot of questions. We got some things to look at in this book. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Pascal back at it again with another pop-up video. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias, The Pascal Show, one word. Hit that like button down below. And let's not forget to crush that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, please be sure to crush that follow button on my Facebook page if this is your first time checking out this channel right here. Anyway, we got to jump into this story. Now, I told y'all, just so y'all know, before you guys get upset, another Jada video. But I told you guys that I'd be coming to you guys with some excerpts from this book and some questions. And one of the main questions is because of this interview and also some things that she was saying in her book that I'm like, nah, I gotta ask you these questions because it doesn't make any sense. Okay. So she was in this interview with Jay Shetty. Hopefully I'm saying his last name correctly. Okay. But really great interviews that he has on his platform, all that. But anyway, he had Jada Pinkett Smith on his show, on his podcast, to talk specifically about her memoir, Worthy. The excerpts, which we're going to be reading some excerpts out of this book, okay? But in this interview, she says this. Take a look.
I was going to go to the Red Table by myself to talk about the entanglement. Mm-hmm. But Will decided he wanted to come with me. And we were going to then tell the world, hey, we haven't been together. And this happened during that time. Well, when we got to the table, Will wasn't ready. I had to respect that. Well, I didn't have to, but I wanted to. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take this heat, allowing myself to be portrayed as someone that had betrayed Will. And that wasn't the case.
Now, she says she was ready to tell the whole world that she and Will were apart, that they were separated, married on paper, but not in real life, having this open marriage and all that. But then something changed. Will Smith wanted to be at the table and do his thing, but then something switched. Something odd happened. And she even says it here in this book as well. And again, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would she pick becoming a martyr or taking it on the chin when she didn't really have to? Let me explain. We're going to get into this book. And like I said, I'm just reading a couple excerpts from this book because like I said, the stuff that she talks about in this book, as far as the entanglement stuff goes and everything, it just doesn't make sense. She had opportunities, guys, opportunities to change everything, to stop everything from the moment he said, yeah, Jada, let me get on the show, all the way to when they decided to upload the video. She had opportunities to say, nah, let me do this myself. I'm going to do it my way. And she didn't. And I'm wondering why. But before we get ahead of ourselves, as we always do, let's look at some of her writing in this book. In my experience, talking back to a media frenzy is a no-win venture because you only make a story bigger and more susceptible to fictional add-ons. However, in this instance, I was ready to explain my actions, not with blame or self-defense, but by taking responsibility. With all the work I'd been doing on myself, that's what felt most important. I was not willing to allow someone else's narrative to put a shroud of shame on me. I felt that coming to the table to tell my story was imperative. Besides, I couldn't ask others to tell their truths at the Red Table and not do the same. One of the things that I'm going to say, instantly, as you hear this, she's sitting there going, oh yeah, the media frenzy, all that stuff. I don't want to do all this. And I don't want to feed the fire. But guess what? She's been feeding the fire the entire time, y'all. So this part doesn't make any sense. Her sitting here saying, oh yeah, the media frenzy, all they're going to do is add on more fictional, more rumors, et cetera, et cetera. But what happened here? Where are we at right now? I mean, obviously she's going to be making millions off of her book. So it worked out in her benefit. But at the same time, I mean, the fact that she's sitting here saying this, that doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And obviously, of course, I commend her for sitting here saying, hey, I wanted to get onto the Red Table Talk and come clean. If I'm going to have everybody else come clean on my show, I should be able to do the exact same thing. Absolutely. But that did not happen the way it was supposed to. And she still allowed it to happen, which makes no sense. This was not supposed to be a psychodrama. My narrative would encapsulate 1, how the entanglement happened when Will and I were separated. 2, how it had been over nearly 2 years. 3, how there were no secrets whatsoever between Will and me. So there was no cheating. When I told Will what I was planning to do, he, by his own choice, without any prompt or request from me, decided to join me at the table. Frankly, I was surprised, pleasantly so, considering we weren't together and given where we were sitting in our relationship at the time. That was unexpected. But he suggested that he did not want me to go to the table alone. Will and I were in agreement that we would come to the table to talk about what our journey had been. We were going to honor our life partnership, yet speak openly and honestly about how that partnership had changed and how we were still figuring it out. We wanted to say that divorce wasn't an option and that family would remain our top priority. She goes on to explain that, of course, some of the things that people have been talking about that have gone viral about, I mean, the look on his face has turned into a meme because he looks like he's been crying. He looks all messed up and all that. She goes on to explain like, hey, listen, he just came in from traveling. He was very, very tired. It was late at night when we recorded this particular episode and all that. But then she continues on. We began with ease, but midway through the table talk, I could feel the conversation beginning to turn. Although at this point, Will had been free as a bird for the last 4 years, living his life on his own terms, he seemed to convey that he had been done wrong. At my reference to having an entanglement, he sternly reframed it with a laugh as a quote-unquote relationship. This came across as if this all had been a secret to him when that wasn't true, and that he had somehow found out about my relationship as if I had not told him about it. Here's where I should have stopped the conversation, but instead, my habit of self-betrayal overwhelmed me, and I swallowed my own voice. After a few failed attempts at regaining the narrative, I resigned and abandoned the purpose of why I'd come to the table in the first place, to tell my truth and to show how we were in partnership in working through being separated but not divorced. One of the things that I get out of this piece is, okay, so he was out here living his life like it's golden. And of course you were too, because you were in this entanglement. But then somehow he was able to pivot the situation and make it seem like something else rather than it being, hey, you guys are separated. You were doing your thing. He was doing his and all that. Now, if there was confusion or a misunderstanding, or if things were being misconstrued during the actual taping of the entanglement video, why didn't you just go, cut? Hey, cut. Wait a second, y'all. Nah. Will, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make any sense. Plenty of opportunity during the taping of said interview conversation. I mean, for you to set the ship back on the right course, but you didn't. And I'm wondering why. But then even after that, it goes on. And also, I also realized that, just a little bit of a side note, I keep wondering, did Will do something to tarnish the relationship first? And this is the reason why you guys have gone down this route. I mean, it's a lot of questions. Like I said, got plenty of notes asking about all this. And I'm just wondering. And then at the same time, he insisted on being on the show in that conversation with you. And instead of him just letting you steer the conversation, he threw in his little jokes and jabs that steered it somewhere else. Again, I don't know. You could have corrected the trajectory of this conversation and it could have had a different outcome instead of it turning into this much bigger situation. You even go on to say this too. Will jokingly referred to himself as the man who stood by his woman on the steps of the courthouse after she was tarnished by her quote unquote transgressions. I understand that the situation was humiliating for him, and that was never my intention. Will managed to inject humor into the conversation, even so that by the end, we could fist bump to our slogan, "We ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life." It said so much when, at the very end, Will got the final stinger. Laughing, but truly serious, he proclaimed that we were okay, but with this caveat: I'm gonna get you back first. Laughing but serious myself, I interrupted with a rebuttal of, "You gonna get me back? I think you've gotten me back. We're good on that." Then he took this opportunity to spin it all the way around to make it seem like he had been betrayed. He said this on your Red Table Talk. Then there was opportunities for you to actually not even upload the video. Again, you had producers coming up to you going, "Are you sure you want to do this? Do you think you just want to maybe go and rerun this again really quick? Do it yourself, go solo real quick before we actually upload this?" And you said, no. In fact, your producers in this book, her producers even recommended her taking a few days to let it marinate and make a decision on if she wanted that video out in the first place. Again, you had plenty of opportunities. The timeline shows me plenty of opportunities for you to sit there and say, nah. We need to redo this whole thing. I'm going to sit down. I don't need Will. I'm good. I'm going to tell everybody about this entanglement and we're going to keep it moving. And I'm going to tell everybody that Will and I are separated and we have been doing our own thing, and just let it be what it is and be real and honest. But when I hear in these interviews, and then of course, when I see in this book, all I see are excuses and not actually taking full accountability of making the decisions that you made. Again, you had plenty of opportunities to sit there and go, no, we're redoing that. Listen, you are the producer. You are the face of Red Table Talk. This whole conversation about the entanglement had everything to do with you, not Will. It was your decision to come to the table and let it all out. You decided to let Will come on, and then he took that conversation to a whole other direction, whole other level, adding drama, adding more to it that didn't even need to be there. You're telling me that you just sat down and you just let it happen when I feel that you had nothing but opportunity to flip it all the way around and do it the way that you wanted it to be done. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I mean, like I said, those are just a few pages out of the book. And like I said, I don't know, I keep wondering, maybe it's the dynamics of the relationship between Will and Jada. Maybe we're just seeing an insight on that, but it just doesn't make any sense unless the only other thing I can think of is Will just wasn't ready for it to come out that they were separated all this time during that time. And so he spun it and made it sound like he's been cheated on, that he's been betrayed. I don't know. It was just weird. Then, in the conversation, you hear the conversation about them, making decisions to go their own ways and all that. But he still came off like he still gave off the vibe like he was betrayed. It doesn't make sense. Again, you had every opportunity, even after recording it, to shut that whole thing down and shoot it the way you wanted it. So it just doesn't make any sense. Somebody make it make sense out there. If you can, comment down below. Let me know, okay? Hit that like button down below, please. And don't forget to crush that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, please be sure to crush that Facebook follow on my Facebook page. If this is your first time checking out this channel right here, it'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next video. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.